What up with your boy Marco from Upside Down Studios? It is What the Fuck Wednesday. How's everybody doing out there? Tonight we got a special guest over here. A good friend of mine, very intelligent man, winner of several comedy contests. But not only a great comedian, a great intellectual man. Um, and personal friend. We're going to be discussing the government shutdown, what we feel like it's about. We hate to play the blame game, but we got to on this one, and that's what the whole debate is going to be about: who does what or what's going on and what the real is out there. Because there's a lot of false information on both sides, a lot of fear mongering and stuff like that. That we see what's going on now. There is one way out of this that has something to do with the president, I feel like, and that's the nuclear option, which I don't like the name of it, nor do I like the idea of it. It's just saying the hell with the filibuster and doing what he does, which he's gonna catch hell for anyway. So we're gonna more discuss on Congress, the senators, the Congress people, the House, and what the votes are, what they have been saying, and what the real of what they're saying or what's behind what they're saying. We got a lot of people out here losing their stamps, losing their benefits or whatever. A lot of people are suffering over this damn political game, and that's bullshit. That being said, the reason that sparked Rob to join this show tonight, I posted quite a few things about this shutdown. One of which was this is mostly about illegals. Although illegals are a chunk of this, as doing research not only for this show but just keeping up on everything, there is a whole lot more than the illegals fuck shit that is stopping this government shutdown. So with that being said, I'm gonna bring my producer out, Greg. He'll be running the sound for tonight. Maybe throwing a little bit here's and there's. Greg doesn't really do the political thing. He takes care of the sound and the every other bullshit, and he puts his little words of wisdom in here every now and again. And without further ado, I'm gonna give the floor to Mr. Rob Coleman, so he could give his thoughts and his intro to everything we're doing tonight. Take it away, Greg.
Where am I? Hey, do I got peanut? I literally just got finished eating a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. So I probably got peanut butter and jelly all over my face. Hold on. Sorry about that. What's up, Marco? How you doing tonight, bro?
How you doing? Greg, can you just blow up Rob for his intro there? This is gonna be.
All right. Well, the whole reason I wanted to come on the show tonight was because we're seeing too many heated conversations between people that have the same interest, right? Like I'm watching things like Jubilee and other stations where they're posting these debates between people that are on the right and on the left. But at the end of the day, we all are Americans. We all want the same things. And I feel like they got us in this pit fighting with each other over like literally what we all just want. So the main way we're going to get by that past this is to have intelligent, intellectual conversations with each other, not yelling at each other, not, oh, well, what about this? And what about that? And what about this? And what about that? That's getting us nowhere. It's literally just digging us deeper and deeper in the hole. So what we got to do is we got to get back to intelligent, thoughtful conversations. We got to get back to fact checking. We got to get back to holding people accountable. We got to get back to holding up the people that are legitimately trying to do something for the people that they were voted and elected to help, right? Like if somebody was voted to go into office to help people, but they're only there for their self-interest or to earn money or to fight these culture wars or to do whatever else and distract us, then they probably shouldn't be in Congress. So what I want to do is, like I said, just bring civility back to the conversation, bring intelligent thoughtfulness back to the conversation. Let's talk about facts. Let's talk about where we got the facts from. And let's just start building bridges and stop fighting with each other. Stop throwing these rocks at each other. So one of the reasons I wanted to tap into this because this is so important. The Democrats and the Republicans basically have the government shut down right now. People are saying, oh, it's on the Republicans, oh, it's on the Democrats, oh, it's, they need to get their shit together. Here's what I know and what I've researched. The Democrats simply want to extend ACA subsidies, right? And those of you out there who have health care are already seeing your premiums go up, right? I have a personal good friend of mine that's currently on ACA. He said his premiums are going up $350 a month. He already has gotten his quote, right? Democrats are trying to fight that. They know that if these subsidies go up, people are going to lose their health care. So for my research, they're trying to fight against that and get Republicans to extend the ACA subsidies. Well, Republicans are saying that no, they're trying to give health care to illegal immigrants. Well, I researched this, and the only way a legal immigrant can get any sort of health care right now if they go to the hospital is under some sort of an emergency clause where if somebody walks in an emergency room and is about to die, a doctor has to treat them, right? It's who no matter who they are, they don't check immigration status if you walk into a room and in an emergency room, your throat is cut or your brains are leaking out your head. They're going to help you, right? That's the only way an illegal immigrants gets help. They do not get health care from the ACA. I even went to the ACA and tried to sign up, and there's a list of questions that you have to answer that once you get to a certain thing about your residency, you absolutely cannot get health care through the ACA. So why are Republicans saying that? I believe it's a anger thing because, and this is the last point I made, and Marco, you can come back in. Um, what difference does it make? Honestly, I'm honestly asking you to search inside yourself if you're watching this show. What difference does it make if somebody is here legal or illegal, goes to the hospital and gets help, right? What does that make any sort of a difference in your life at all? When we're talking about the things that go to healthcare, the healthcare budget, everything that goes to healthcare is less than 2% of our national budget. So if an illegal alien walks into uh, an emergency room with a broken leg and they put a cast on them, what difference does that make, right? But they want you to be so angry that any dollar is going to go to illegal immigrants. That's propaganda. That's a culture war, and they're poking the bear to try to get you angry about something that makes no difference in your life. So, from my research, immigrants do not get health care from ACA, and even if they did, it doesn't even make a difference. We're mad over nothing. So, Marco, you can go ahead and come back in, and we can have the
Okay.
discussion back and forth. But I don't want those points out there.
Okay. First of all, um, we all know, we all know. I mean, and this is real facts. We all know that on paper, it says that no illegals should be getting any kind of health care. We all know that. But we all know that they all do. Now, maybe it's not
Wait a
called
minute. How do we all know that? How do we all know that?
because it's been all over the media, it's been on all social media, it's been on the now. When you
I don't know.
look up how it's being done, they're
Mm-hmm.
not there's loopholes that are being the workarounds that are being used. One big one is, and I know this for a fact, my children get benefits. I have adult children on their own. They got kids. They're affected by this. My handicapped son is affected by this. So it ain't like I want this to be real. But up until the recent changes to get on any kind of benefits, especially after the whole COVID switch up, they did not ask. They did not care. You get what one of the biggest workarounds that I found is they'll go into a household, they'll go with their families. And the welfare will ask the head of the household or whatever, how many people are living in your house? You put five. How many are going to school? If there's any school age, you got to list their school. But if not, then you list their how old they are, what their name is, the social security number is optional, and how long they've been a resident, and boom, them people, everybody in that household, if eligible through their first person, everybody in the household gets benefits. And I know that for a fact because when I was on welfare, I did the same thing. My kids were not eligible as adults to be on the system on their own, but when they came into my household, they were eligible. All of a sudden, everybody got health care, everybody gets food stamps, and all that. That's one workaround. Now, there is a list of states that use these loopholes that is documented. And where's it at? Where's the list of the states at? I went back to your questions here. Here we go. Non-citizen loopholes. There's a list of states, and ironically enough, all Democratic states that just do it for children. They find workarounds and they give Medicare and Medicaid for the children, which is fine. That's a problem in and of itself. But then there's also a list of states, which is 2/3 of them states that use federal monies and all that to not only give health care benefits, welfare, whatever benefits to illegals, but they're trying to expand them. Where the hell is this list?
Well, tell me something, Marco. My
Well,
second part of my question.
that's what I'm about to address. Why does
Okay.
it matter? Why does it matter? Okay, first of all, the Obamacare subsidies, or whatever. First of all, the Obamacare, well, I was never a fan of it, but you know what? Nobody got a better answer. Nobody got a better answer. Leave it the fuck alone until you get a better answer for it. If the Democrats nor the Republicans can come up with a better answer, hey, we don't like it, but it's there. That's what we have. I'm a firm believer. Don't if you ain't got something better to replace this, leave it alone. Now, what a lot of people aren't realizing, and I don't understand why people aren't realizing, there was a cost to Obamacare in the beginning that was damn near the same cost as it was. Now, there was a sliding scale. I'm going on the heavy end. That was damn near the same cost of private health care. It was like a $20 difference between Obamacare, which was just you paying for welfare health care, which is not bad, or there was your private insurance. So you had one or the other, and then of course we know the stipulation was at one time was you had to have health care or you were going to get penalized on your taxes. So that's where that came from. But there was a specific price. Now, when COVID hit, these subsidies and all this other stuff came in, and it dropped the prices. It dropped them to what the levels are now. Now, that was supposed to go away. That was all agreed upon by everybody. That was supposed to go away. So the prices are going to go back up to what the market is on private insurance, give or take on that sliding scale. So nothing's really going up. It's just going to what it was before. And if you couldn't afford this before, you're not going to afford it now. But I mean, people should have saved. But I mean, that's the only way that this is going up and skyrocketing. Now to address the why does it matter? Because I was a big proponent of people not getting free healthcare in America. I'm one of them people that, healthcare is not a right. I mean, it's nice to think about, but healthcare is not a right. If you don't take care of yourself, you don't take care of your family, you don't work, you don't eat. The same thing with the healthcare.
Wow.
And we have been very complacent in America to that because we have always taken care of our own. But I have seen now that we are taking care of millions of illegals, millions, double digits of illegals, and giving them housing and giving them monies on top of food cards. Look it up, New York. And this is not, and still our American people, our white people, our black people, our brown people, our people aren't getting shit of this. These people are getting, all these, a lot of these people who, the illegals that I speak of, did come in under the Biden administration, under his asylee program, or there was other programs that let certain peoples come in for a certain amount of time, and they did not re-up any of their paperwork. They just came in, and now with that original, the original pass, with that pass, they could go file for benefits. So that's how a lot of illegals also get benefits without that. But my whole point being is, now we know we could take care of our own, and we are refusing to take care of our own to take care of these illegals.
Wait, hold on. What do you mean take care of our own? What do you mean by that?
We can have free health care. I was against it, but because that shouldn't be on everybody. But for the monies that we are dumping into into the illegals, we could have free health care. We could have these kids go to school without worrying about a damn the tuition and all that. We could do that now. You notice, nobody's saying nothing about the schools. Linda McMahon just posted this on X too. This is proof. The government's been shut down a month, but the schools are not being affected. The schools are not being affected at all. And you know what? It's true, because my kids' kids are schools ain't being affected at all. Those are all government things. So that means that the government didn't need to be controlling the educational system. It should go back to the states.
The states already well, hold on. You're making a lot of points here, Mark. I want to go back and just address a few.
Okay.
Number one, the thing that you mentioned in New York about the illegals getting food cards, that was done as a budgeting initiative because they were giving those people food that they weren't eating. So they found it was a better deal to just give them a card with some money on it and let them just buy as much as they want to eat. If they didn't
on that doesn't matter, you're still doing it. The road
right, they were wasting. Listen, if I buy you a $10 meal and you only eat $2 of it, I just wasted $8, right?
Yeah, and you don't buy that person another meal.
But if I give you a $10 food card and you only buy $2 of it, you still got $8 that we didn't waste.
Yeah,
that was the budgeting initiative that they put into place, and they end up saving millions of dollars because of that.
If it was on the table, then you didn't eat it all. You don't just get something else given to you. And yes, again, that was another loophole that it talks about, that these governments use different wording and different financial workarounds to give people benefits.
Right, I mean, so honestly, you thought it was a better idea to give them food that they would waste instead of giving them.
Don't give them nothing if they don't eat it. My mom used to have a saying, like, if you didn't like her food, pero come mierda. That means eat shit then. That's how we grew up. You either eat what was put on the table, what was worked hard for and put on the table, or you don't eat nothing. How ungrateful is that? You were in a 5-star hotel and you were given filet mignon, which was the truth, and asparagus, and they didn't like filet and asparagus. Okay. They showed that's okay, real. That's real.
Let's answer me this.
Okay.
Why are we vilifying illegal aliens? They come over here, they work hard, they're less likely to commit crime than most people. They stay in their own communities. They do the work that Americans don't want to do. Why are we vilifying them and making them some sort of villain?
2 reasons. One, because they're stepping on the toes of people who are doing it right. The people who are working hard and taking their tests and doing things the right way, they're stepping on those people's toes. That is the first thing.
Who says they're not doing it right? You know how long it takes to become a citizen?
Yeah, it takes you
years. It takes years to become a citizen.
No. To become naturalized, it takes.
No, you never.
I got the book in my bedroom, dude. I got the citizen book in my bedroom. I got an old one and an updated one. Okay. Updated one, you went from 10 questions. 10 questions. You had to get 6 of them right to become a citizen. To now it's 20 questions, and you got to get 11 of them right to become a citizen. Don't give me this. You're gonna have to. You
have to have your green card for a certain amount of time.
Exactly.
But circumstances, dude. I mean, you said you got the book, so I don't want to make that. I don't want to make that the thing. I don't want to make how you become a citizen the thing. I want to find out why are we vilifying these people? Like we're treating them like they're wrecking the country. Like Trump is calling them vermin and criminals. Every time I see an illegal alien, you know what she's doing? She's cleaning up my hotel room. Every time I see a illegal alien, you know what he's doing? He's fixing my car or picking my groceries. I don't see these gang members and killers
And
that
now
they're talking
that's
about.
my second point on the illegals. Because on the flip side of it, on the flip side of it, and you just saying everything you said proves the point. The illegals to I'm sorry, it seems like more left leaning we'll just say leaders and people. The illegals are the new slaves. You just said it yourself. They do the work nobody else wants to do.
They're
They
not
don't
forced to
get
do it.
paid that
Don't do
much.
that. Don't compare them to
That's
slaves,
exactly
dude.
what it is. They're
Slaves were
being
forced to
exploited.
work.
They're being
Slaves was
exploited.
forced to work. These people are choosing to work this hard,
Uh,
which
so,
makes them
uh,
way different than slaves. Don't
indentured
even do that.
servants. Sorry, that's the white way of changing slave around. Indentured servants.
Yeah,
That's
don't
pretty
go
much
there.
what that is. That's my two biggest problems with this. Because the ones that don't illegal is illegal. You came across the wrong way. Ours is the only country that lets you step into theirs without some kind of ramification. France tried it, and you see France is being taken over right now. The UK is going through hell right now. And with that being said, I have no problems. If you want to come over here, especially the asylum seekers, which is very hard to say anybody coming from South America are asylum seekers because the rule is you have to go seek asylum in the first fucking country you go to, which would be Mexico to most of these people. Now the Mexicans come across, which I've met a lot of Mexicans, legal and illegal, who are opposed to illegals totally. And those people, they just, I mean, how is that fair? That's not right. They are illegal. Come here and do it the right way. There are ways of doing it. There are way. I mean, just that's simple.
Well,
You know, and
the way is to go and get heard in front of a naturalization judge, right? And when the Democrats was in power in Biden's last year, they had a bill before Congress that was going to explode the number of judges at the border to get these people asylum cases heard to speed up their citizenships. Republicans blocked it based on a phone call from Trump. You cannot deny that, Marco. They
yeah, but
we were going to fix it. It was on its way to being fixed.
that's
And
in the big
Republicans
beautiful
blocked
bill.
it.
You do know that, right?
That there are more asylum judges, that there are judges at the border.
Yeah, that's all funding for all that was in the big beautiful bill. That's one of the things they want to take out. See, that's
What do you
another
want to
thing
pick
that I
up?
want to go on to your points that you gave me. That list that you gave me of points and stuff, especially the last one.
We still really, so your 2 points about illegals, because I truly am trying to understand why it's one thing to be against illegal aliens, but there is an anger there with Trump supporters. There's an anger there with people on the right about illegal aliens, like they over here ruining our country.
We're
And I
tired of
that's what I
telling
don't get.
people. We're tired of telling
If
people
I'm
the
a if
truth
I
and
listen just
being
for a
called
second,
liars.
if I'm a gang member at 14 and I get covered in gang tattoos and I'm forced to do a bunch of bullshit, and by the time I'm 20, I'm like, fuck this, I'm going to America, I'm gonna give myself a job, I'm gonna get out of this life. And I come to America and seek asylum, and they see a gang tattoo on me and they send me back saying I'm a member of NS-13, right? How is that helping anybody? Right? You
Okay,
know what I'm saying? Like we're not listening to the stories. We're putting everybody in a bucket of illegal aliens and saying fuck them all, right? And that's not the way we were
we
meant to do
listened
things
to
in
all the
America.
stories
We
and
have a
we ended up
judicial
with a
system that everybody is supposed to. The Bill of Rights was made so that every person is treated equally, that everybody has their case heard before court. This is
no.
not
The
a
Bill of
country where we
Rights
just
and the
lump everybody
Constitution
in one
was
thing
for
and treat them all the
Americans
same.
to have that.
What?
Americans. If you look in the Constitution and in the Bill of Rights and in all the amendments, and that's where I get a problem with these people speaking on due process. None of that says anything about anybody other than Americans.
No, it's not. Come
No,
on, Marco.
look it
Pull
up.
up the
Look
Bill of
it up.
Rights right now.
I speak
Pull
facts.
it up
I
right
speak
now.
facts.
Jesus Christ. I
That,
mean,
that, that,
the
it's only Americans.
where's the vitriol though? Where's the anger coming from
There is
about
no,
illegal
you know
aliens?
where I notice a lot of people who are on the right getting angry now and
Yeah.
more forceful is because we're tired of being called liars when the truth is right in front of you guys. We're tired of being called racist when the truth is right in front of you guys. We're tired of being called this and that when the truth is right in front of you guys. That's where a lot of, at least my anger comes from. And I'm not even a diehard Republican. There's a lot of fuck shit. I'm just gonna say it, that comes out of the Republican Party. And that's for another show. Mm-hmm. But like, going on to these lists did we cover this? We want to move on. Or you got anything else to say about these?
No, I just pulled up the Bill of Rights, and I want to read about when you are arrested, because I mean you're saying that the Bill of Rights says it's only for Americans. It does not say that. I'll find it. Go ahead and keep going with your points, but I'm gonna find it here for you, and we'll read it together.
The states that I was talking about: California, Connecticut, Illinois, Maine, Massachusetts, New Jersey, New York, Oregon, Rhode Island, Utah, Vermont, Washington, and the District of Columbia. These states provide Medicaid-like coverage or primary and preventative care to income-eligible children. Now, those are the children ones. So that isn't just going to the hospital. That's just taking care of them. That's WIC. Now, California, Illinois, New York, Oregon, and D.C. extended coverage to the adults, regardless of status. Other states like Colorado and Minnesota are planning on expansions to the 2025, including subsidies for non-citizens, purchase of private. So now they get to choose whether they want to go on government or private health care, and we're paying. Well, we can't even say we're paying for it, because what they do is they do it through the state, and then the state runs it through their budget that comes through the federal government. That's another loophole that gets hit. CMS has increased oversight on states misusing federal Medicaid funds to cover undocumented immigrants and warned states to close loopholes and improve compliance to avoid recoupment of the federal money. Thus, while federal Medicaid rules restrict most non-citizen coverage except for certain qualified categories, a number of states have taken advantage of federal waivers or state-funded programs to broaden access to non-citizens, including undocumented immigrants, using legal and financial workarounds. So that right there tells you that they are getting benefits. But again, like I said in the beginning, you were right. This is not just about illegals getting food, illegals getting benefits. The healthcare thing is just the first thing put up in front of everything. The fuck shit, the crazy shit, and this is all can be documented. You can watch the hearings, or you can look it all up. Well, I'm gonna let you read off the list of demands that the Democrats say they want. From that.
Well, I just want to. I just really feel like we're really getting to the core of the specific beliefs on the right and left. Okay, I feel like on the right, there's this belief that America is only for certain motherfuckers, right? If you here and you down with America and you know the Constitution, you was born here and you know the language, America is for you. If you not, then fuck you. You can get the fuck out. You can get arrested. You can get deported. We don't give a fuck. This is America and it's for us, right?
Yeah, you're fucking right. And that's the way every other country is.
That at its core is the problem. America is meant to be a melting pot.
No. America is a melting pot.
America that's our core disagreement. Then that's our core disagreement about what America is.
Yeah, America is the land of the free for Americans. There is rules to get in our country.
I get it.
Just like there's rules to get into anybody else.
Dude, I get it now. Yeah, I get it. That's the core belief. That's where the anger comes from. Right, for a motherfucker illegal to come and live in this country is like somebody knocking on your front door and coming in your house and just setting up camp in your living room.
Not at all. Not if they do it
like,
the right
get
way.
the fuck out of here. What you doing in my living room? All right.
Not if they do it the right way. If they do it the right way.
They can come live in your living room the right way.
If they knock on my door and say, "Can I come watch a movie with you?"
No, that's not what you're saying. That's not what you're saying. Because that's what's happening at the border. People are coming in and saying, "Hey, can I come in?" No, but you're like, "No, you got to have your paperwork." You
Right,
got to do it the right way.
exactly. That's exactly right. And I don't understand why you think that that's something wrong.
You know, but I'm sick and I'm getting killed and my children, and no, I don't give a fuck. This country is for America. Don't you come your ass in here. Or if you come in, I'm sending you right back out.
If
We
it's not
treat
done
America
the right
like
way, if it's not done the right way, we have asylee programs. If you
there you go. That, I mean, we almost can stop the discussion then. Because
no,
we're never going to
that's
agree
not just
if
it.
that's at its core what you believe America is.
Right,
We're
and I'm trying to
never going to
understand
agree.
why
I
you
do
think
not
that
believe
that's.
America is that.
I don't understand why you think that that's okay. Like
For
I
people
don't
to be able to come here and get help and become a citizen after we've heard your case and heard your story. You don't think that's a thing?
No, not
That's
at all.
amazing to me.
We're the only country that just let people just come in and do what the fuck they want.
That's
they
what makes us exceptional. That's what makes us exceptional.
Yeah, that's what makes us a weak country.
That's not weakness, man.
Yeah, that is very weak.
Elon Musk is a fucking immigrant, and he came over here and became a billionaire.
And he did it the right way. And an African,
so why are we not giving these people the opportunity to do it the right way? They are arresting people.
We're not giving them the opportunity.
They are arresting, Marco. They are arresting people at the courthouse during their hearings, trying to get their citizenship.
Right, but what they're not telling you is they didn't do something or they did something to make them come out there. The people who are going to their hearing, the people who are going to their hearings,
a motherfucker that doesn't understand English. He's here. You put a pile of paper in front of him, and you say, "Fill all this shit out." He's like, "I did that, but I did that."
Oh, come on! Now you know that, especially with these times now, everyone's afforded.
And he goes to court, and a bunch of ICE agents jump on his ass and send him out of the country. What did he do wrong?
Okay, first of all, I don't know if you know, but I know damn well in the courts, in the welfare offices, in every government building, especially within the past 10 years, there are all kind of translations and translators everywhere. Everywhere. Okay. Everyone is afforded a translation. Now, all these people, what they aren't telling you, because there are hundreds and hundreds per city, county.
Go to the DMV without it taking 3 hours. Come on now.
Right. Well, this is one thing. There are hundreds of these immigration cases, but you're only seeing one here and there, somebody snatched out of the courts. And why? Because they did some shit that was illegal and which revoked their status, and they are getting deported. I mean, it's that simple. I just watched a video of this young kid. He came here from Haiti. He was illegal. He's living here. He's working here. He's doing the right thing. And he says that he knows that when the time comes to be deported, I'm not mad at Donald Trump. I'm not mad at the government because that's the rules. That's the way it is. I broke the rules. I'm taking advantage of the system. And I will thank them for giving me the opportunity that I had. I mean, why is that so hard for anybody to figure out? And this whole bull about these people coming to America out of nowhere for asylum or whatever. Now, maybe the Haitians, maybe the Somalis, maybe, the San people, maybe that, because they go right from there to here. But if there is a damn another 2 countries that you hit before you come here and you still choose to come in illegally, nah, man, get the fuck out. We are struggling. We just talked about our own country in the nation. Yeah. The richest country in the nation can't afford its own health care. The richest country in the nation can't afford its own health care, Rob. That was the whole start of this conversation.
Wait a minute.
The richest country in the nation can't afford health care, but we can give it for free to illegals. I mean, come on, man. You gotta see the hypocrisy in that.
How much does healthcare take up of the national budget?
Healthcare takes up, I think, pretty close to 3%. And that's why I'm glad. That's a great segue.
Like that.
That's a great segue. And to do the numbers, white folks get more welfare than anybody else. Black folks is second, and the Hispanics, I think, make 1.6% of that. So everybody who loves to say the illegals are just Hispanics, even on your side of the argument, that's only 1.6%, and then you got to divvy that up between the illegals. So it's a small percentage. It is a very small percentage. That's why I told you in the beginning that you were right on some hand. This ain't all about the illegals. This ain't all about the illegals at all. So I was wrong in saying that this was just about the illegals. But with
Hey, they're
the
not.
rest
They're
of
not. I mean, okay. You
Try to
made
make the
the point.
point real quick.
Yeah, go ahead, Greg.
Y'all started over healthcare.
Hmm.
Is what y'all started over. It wasn't about immigration. It wasn't about none of that. Um, I think because that's where all this spider web's from. Um, a lot of that attention needs to be looked at right here in the United States, with a lot of people that are taking advantage of the system now, the same way these people are. You
right,
understand?
right. That's another thing.
So for somebody to stand there and say they're an American citizen just because they have a fucking piece of paper that they were born here is a crock of shit. As far as I'm concerned, as long as you're paying fucking taxes, you're a goddamn citizen because that's all that makes you a fucking citizen right here in the United States. If you
Way to
don't pay
look at it.
taxes and you're taken from the system and you have no reason, you're just sucking off the bottom of the barrel. You don't need to be here. You don't need to be. You understand what I'm saying? Like, I don't care if people come in. I'm more than happy to. I've always been somebody to help people. You know what I mean? And I'd be the same way with them. Um, Now, again, and the first question that comes to people's mind, well, are you going to open your front door? No, I wouldn't open my front door for a guy that lives 3 streets over because I don't fucking know him. You know what I mean? So yeah, I have no problem with them coming here and getting help, but as long as they're going to get help, use it to get on their feet and become a citizen. So as
Do you
far
do
as
you know the process? Do you know the process they have to take, Greg?
I do understand that, yes, I do, and I think a lot of that's bullshit too.
We've done a lot of shows on the
But
whole processes thing because I've been
right,
questioned on the process quite a few
Yeah. See,
times.
that's the thing. People don't. People talk out of ignorance sometimes, thinking that you could just, as soon as you cross the border, you could
yeah,
just
you can
stamp
just sign
something
some
and become a
papers and
citizen.
you're done. No,
And
That
it's
was
a
it
long
don't.
process. You have to
that was
first. You
that
have
was
to
the
Exactly.
file.
problem though, Rob. That was a big problem, and I got called on this when I made a comment, and after doing some
We talked
research.
about it before on your show.
Yeah,
Well, I'm
and
talking about like with somebody else. Somebody called me on one of the comments, and now at one point, and this is what's being rescinded, and that this is one of the talking points that they is nothing being put out there. One of the things that was rescinded that in the whole subsidies thing and all that, and it has to do a lot with immigration because nobody's talking about the immigration stuff that they want to pull out. um, there was a lot of people that were, it was easier to come in. It was easier for immigrants to come in. It was easier for immigrants to seek asylum. They lowered the standard on that, which they took that away. So the standard's a lot higher. So at one point it was easy to become, at least we'll say documented, not naturalized, because naturalized is something totally different.
Yeah, you're born
Um,
here. That's naturalized.
well, no, you could become a naturalized citizen. That's after you go through the green card process and all that.
after
It's
being
a
here so
two-step
many years or
process.
whatever,
That's what you're
Yeah,
talking
after the
about.
and
5 years.
Right, right.
and
There's a
that's
two.
to
There's a
me that
yeah.
to me that's a crock of shit because you know what? If you were born here, we had to. The way that we grew up, we had to survive. We had to do what we had to do to get where we are now. And these people have to do the same thing when they come here. Yeah, you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So
you just
that's
can't, you can't just jump at the head of the line when there's been people waiting and doing what they have to do.
right. I mean, I understand that, but again, that goes back to what I said earlier. And a lot of the shit that they have to go through is a crock of fucking shit too. So,
Well, and that's what I was going back into. Now,
but,
it is a little bit more rigorous now for people to to get their green card and all their status. The ones that do have it the hardest, though, I will admit, and I don't know why our government is, and it's been through several administrations. They ain't doing nothing about it. The sand people have it the hardest trying to come over here and get any kind of status or whatever, which I found kind of odd because growing up here, like that apparently saying Arab ain't the right thing no more, but we call them Arab stores. They were here for so many years, and they would bring a family member, and the store would go on the family member's name, and then somehow, some way through whatever loophole, they were all becoming citizens because of having an establishment somehow. My mom used to work for them. It was there was weird workarounds and loopholes in the government for them to make their shit, but to do it legally, anybody from, and when I say like the sand people, the litter box, like the Iraqi people, the Jewish people, the Palestinian people, Anybody who come over there from the sand, some reason, somehow, some way, they have it the hardest trying to get any kind of status or naturalized to come in here. And nobody really talks about that. That's kind of weird too. And as far as like you said, Rob, I am all for people coming in here, immigrants. I am all for that.
No,
As
you're
long as
not. You
it's
don't
done
sound
the
like you
right
are.
way. No, I can't, like you just said, I can't just come and kick in your door and sit on your sofa.
Who says it? Okay. I mean, it, all right. Let's return just real quick before we miss this point. I pulled up the first 10 amendments to the Constitution, the Bill of Rights. The Fifth Amendment, what everybody says, I plead the fifth. No person shall be held to answer for a capital or otherwise infamous crime unless it is pre unless on a press. These glasses are like fucked up. Precedent or indictment of a grand jury, except in cases arising in the land or naval forces or in the militia when in actual service in time of war or public danger. Nor shall any person be subject for the same offense to be twice put in jeopardy of life and limb, nor shall be compelled in any criminal case to be a witness against himself. I plead the fifth, right? Nor be deprived of life, liberty, or property without due process of the law, nor shall private property be taken or public use without just compensation. So that last sentence is where we have the problem. Nor shall a person be deprived of life, liberty, or property without due process of law. So when I grab somebody on the street and throw them in a van and send them out of the country, is that due process of law, right? I just read it. It says no person shall be held to answer at the very beginning, not American, not immigrant. It says no person. So when we're
Okay.
grabbing them and putting them in the van, that directly is going against the Fifth Amendment to the Constitution. I just read it.
The Fifth Amendment to the Constitution is so you don't incriminate yourself. Let's just
It's
get
not
that
just
right.
that.
And
It's how
and the
I
word
just read
and
the
the
whole
word he was
thing.
trying to say, I think it was precedent, maybe.
Precedent. Well, maybe it's typed wrong
Precedent.
here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now that's pleading the fifth, which none of these illegals have done. None of them. And second of all, being and this is something that I don't like with this administration. This is a big problem I have with this administration. Him labeling the the gangs or whatever coming in as terrorist organizations gives you different military rights and restrictions and stuff like that. Just like the amendments don't hold true to people in the military, because there is double jeopardy in the military. I know, I was in the military. And I have a whole book on the difference in the laws and the more laws that the military people have. Now, by calling these folks a terrorist organization, they do have the right to just snatch people up. That's why I had a big problem with him calling Antifa a terrorist organization. Although I'm not a fan of them, and I'm not a fan of what they do or what they stand for, they're just Americans. You can't just call them
Antifa is a
terrorist
boogeyman,
organizations.
man. I've
And
never seen anybody on TV claim they were Antifa
yeah,
or
I
that is a fucking
I
boogeyman.
have, Rob. I have. Um,
Where?
just
Please
like
show
I've
me a
been
video of
just
the
like I've
leader
been
of Antifa. Who
just
is
like
the
I've been
leader?
to Proud Boys uh, functions, and there were some of the nicest people I've ever met of all different races there. They even invited me into one of their wedding fucking things. I had pictures and videos.
Whatever.
I,
I'm talking about Antifa. That is a boogeyman, man.
that is not a
When
boogeyman.
have you seen a member of Antifa in Cleveland, or when have you ever like
When
who's
you,
the leader?
there's
If
there's
Antifa
different
was a
leaders of
thing,
different sects.
then you would think the leader or the organization would be all over Fox News every day. It is a boogeyman that they use to scare people. Oh, Antifa is in Denver, Colorado. Get the fuck out of here.
Whatever you feel
That
about
is
the
a boogeyman.
organization, whatever you feel about the organization, the whole point of it is being called a terrorist group, gives the same rights to the military or the National Guard or even police officers, the same rights to treat them like they're doing to the illegals. And
Right.
that's bad shit. Because even when they try to, uh, the taking the guns away from the trans people, no, you can't do that. Even though the statistics lately, the trans people ain't doing too well in the communities. If they're Americans, I don't give a fuck what's between their legs or what they identify as. Your right to having a weapon is your right to having a weapon. If you start taking away from this group, then that group, then that group, then that group. So that's a slippery slope. That's some bullshit that don't, but there's your whole due process argument. Being that they were labeled and and I'm not saying it's right. Now, I'm not saying it's right at all. What I'm saying is, if one of them feel like that you've done something wrong, or your gang tattoos or your tattoos, period. I got a whole set that I do about my tattoos and being pulled over. If you're, period, they could just automatically, just like when I was growing up. If you was black or brown and you was driving down the street, cops see you, we automatically thought that cop's gonna follow us. That cop's gonna be at us. It's the same shit. But again, we winding down. I wanted to hit some of these other points that were on the thing. The biggest silly one, like the silliest one that you sent me was it said a modest, and what I want to get the exact wording down. That demanding, see, Republicans interpret as Congress. Where is this? Okay. Emphasize funding little proportions, key tensions and talking, argue moving forward, clean funding bill, Inspector General add restrictions, restore funding.
Damn, you must have thought the show was gonna be 4 hours or some shit.
Yeah, well, I mean, we kind of got off on a tangent a little bit, but I think we got a lot of information.
Let me preface your audience in case anybody's listening. We went back and forth on Messenger. Marco sent me a video of Australian news report saying that the Democrats were responsible for the shutdown because they wanted health care for illegal immigrants. I sent Marco a snippet from Chuck Schumer addressing the Senate saying exactly what they want, which was just to extend the ACA subsidies. Marco sent me something back that says they want more than that. That's not true what Chuck Schumer said. So I asked ChatGPT, I was like, does the things that Democrats want to reopen the government give health care to illegal immigrants? It said no and listed the exact things that the Democrats wanted. Now, this is from Chat, right? So it searches the internet for articles and references to answer your question. It's not political, okay? So it found a bunch of stuff that said no. This is not giving health care to immigrants. I even asked that specific question. Does anything give health care to immigrants? And it said no, and it gave me the answer. So the stuff that it did list that the Democrats want was just to extend the ACA subsidies, to repeal some of the Medicare coverages that the big beautiful bill were taking away from people. It wasn't specific about that, I'll grant you that. And it was like one other thing in there that was looking to fund.
Oh no, there was 6 things. And specifically, the reason why I sent you the Australian clip was to show that even the outside world knows that this is some bullshit. Now, everything that you sent me was kind of like the surface of everything. The last one, like I said, was the silliest one for me, and it said a modest increase on security for lawmakers. A modest increase. That was the 6th one on that list that you.
Oh yeah, right. Okay. It was something
so let me tell you what a modest increase is. $200 million fucking dollars a year for security. That's modest. That's modest.
Are you talking about the ballroom?
No.
Wait a minute, what are you talking about?
We're not throwing that. We're talking about.
Wait a minute, is that the ballroom?
We're talking about what you're talking about. You're getting all Democrat on me. Don't do that. Let's see.
Are we talking about the money that went to South America? We're not talking about that.
Now, again, no, we're not talking about that. See, that you're getting real Democratic on me again. We're talking about the $200 million for people security. We're talking
We're
about
talking about the minute they went to
we're
modify the
talking
plane.
about putting PBS and NPR back on. We're talking about $6 million for media organizations serving Palestine. We're talking $3 million for circumcision and vasectomies in Zambia. We're talking funding for electric buses in Rwanda, transgender support in Nepal, pride parades in Lesotho, and social media projects in Serbia. We are talking about $3.6 million for pastry cooking classes and dance focus groups for male prostitutes in Haiti. We are talking about $4.2 million for LGBT projects in the Western Balkans and Uganda. That is what we are talking about, Rob. That is what the fuck is in that bill. That is what the Republicans are trying to stop. That is what they took out of the last bill, and that is why your government is shut down. I was wrong. It's not about the illegals. The illegals is 2%. It's about the rest of that shit. And it got nothing to do with ballrooms that is not being funded by the taxpayers at all. But if you want to bring up renovations, how about the basketball court?
Don't do that bullshit. They put in 2 rims and repainted a tennis court. Get the fuck out of here, Marco. Come on, Marco.
Or the press rooms, or the swimming pool.
This motherfucker tore down half the White House.
Yeah,
half
so
the White House
FDR gutted the
That
White
is a
House.
lot more than a goddamn basketball
gutted
court, Marco.
the White House, Rob. He gutted it.
Half of the White House is gone.
Yeah, he gutted the White House. You're not understanding what I'm saying? FDR did that. You know, there's countless. Every president put their mark on the White House.
Hold on. Did he say he was going to do that?
Funded.
Did he say he was going to do that? Did Trump say he was going to tear down half the White House?
In his paperwork, yeah.
No, the fuck he didn't. He said I was not going to touch it. Matter of fact, my project is not going to touch it. Now tell me please tell me you didn't hear that so I can look up the video.
The East Wing, he did the East Wing.
He said, I will not touch the beautiful White House. It's the people's building. I am not going to touch it.
Oh, well,
that line motherfucker tore down half the White House without permission.
Again, one, if he did it without permission, then that's on him. But two, that has nothing to do with what we were talking about.
It absolutely does.
No, it does not. This has nothing to do with the bill. This has nothing to do with this bill. This has nothing to do. The only way Donald Trump can stop this whole government bullshit is, like I said in the beginning, is if he eliminates the filibuster and he says, fuck you guys, you're just going to do it and like it, which is going to cause nothing but court and problems, damn well, coming from from Congress and all the Democrats. Well, and that's what the nuclear option they keep talking about. Or they could say, to hell with all this bullshit here. I mean, hell, I'll even leave in the bullshit for the illegals. You take out all the rest of this bullshit here and turn the government back on.
I haven't heard. No, they won't do that. Listen, I haven't heard one Republican say that. Every Republican that comes on TV says the Democrats want to give health care to illegals. They're using illegals as boogeyman again. They're stoking fear, and it's propaganda.
Never watched all the fucking hearings. The hearings talk about the rest of this here.
In the tape that I sent you, they showed Thurman talking before Schumer. Listen to Thurman's comments. He literally says the Democrats want to give health care to illegals. He's still using that as a talking point. And that's not true.
Yes, it is. We just discussed it.
It is absolutely not.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
They want to give health care to illegals. They
even Maxine Waters.
You're saying that's their primary motivation.
Trying to give health care to everybody. Maxine Waters said it. And you got your own people going on news channels saying that the only reason why we're doing this is because the shutdown is the only leverage we have. And it wasn't just one. It was at least 3-4 of them. AOC and Bernie Sanders made an ass out of them.
Let me rewind a little bit. So you said that the ballroom has nothing to do with this bill, right?
Right.
And I'm saying that it does in this sense, and just hear me out. The value that they put on certain things on the right side is not equivalent to any sort of compassion or empathy for people, right? The value that they put on stuff has to do with how much money we can save or how much good shit. Look, it has nothing to do with empathy for people. So that's why I say they're willing to tear the goddamn White House down and spend $300 million, no matter where it comes from. Spend $300, $250, $300 million to build a goddamn disco, which is what basically a ballroom is, and send money to all of these other different projects, but they're unwilling to sign off to let people who can't afford health care to get an extension until Republicans can come up with some sort of a better health care bill, right? Republicans have had years, a decade, to come up with a better health care program than the ACA, and they have not done it. So regardless of how much it cost before or after COVID, all Democrats are asking, let's not throw 30, 40 million people off their health care. Let's keep it affordable for them until we figure some shit out, right?
Right.
That's
So
all I hear Democrats say whenever they're in front of TV. But we keep making this like, oh, well, immigrants might get,
well, see, that's where
if they go to emergency room. That's not the point. A whole bunch, millions of Americans are going to see their premiums go up 300-400%. One of my comedian friends just got his quote for healthcare. His healthcare is going up $2,800 next year. I'm seeing it in practice, and that's
okay.
what Democrats are fighting against. He's not an illegal immigrant, but his healthcare expenses are going up. Now, and last point, I promise. The amount that the healthcare is going up is the amount that the Democrats want to put back in is the amount of tax cuts that are going to billionaires, $1 trillion.
Oh,
now,
no.
No, tell me that's a lie.
It is a lot. There's a whole bunch. I think it's $4.5 trillion. $4.5 trillion is what this is going to cost in extra that the Democrats want. 4.5. So if we're going to get them numbers right, we're going to get the numbers right. And second of all, well, again, monies are appropriated everywhere else, just like when they saw that this whole the contingency fund, because I was one of the first ones, they got backup money over here. Why don't they put this backup money out there? Which they're suing the administration.
The Department of Agriculture has $6 billion.
I think it's $8 million.
Billion.
Yeah. But it can't be touched because when that bill was written, the wording was changed or whatever, and that is actually probably going to end up going to maybe Jamaica or one of these other people like down south because the hurricanes are coming through, because that's what that was set aside
appropriated for something else. You can't reappropriate funds once it's already spent. That money is considered already spent.
Right. That's what I'm saying. So that money is for emergency funds, so that can't go to the people. Now this whole 40 million, that the number that keeps getting thrown around, that is not. They're taking 40 million people that are being taken off of healthcare is like or benefits. It's not healthcare, it's benefits, which meaning food stamps. That means that's what we're going through now. Yeah, that's what it is, because my kid just went to the doctor's yesterday or Monday. You know, he got a care source card. I took him. So that is not being affected.
Wait, are you saying your premiums go up too then? Because it's open enrollment now.
There's nothing being done. You know what I got? I got a paper saying if you want to stay with who you got, then you don't have to do anything. That's it.
It's not telling you what your premiums are? It's not telling you what your premiums are?
Dude, I'm fine. Nothing has went up. Nothing has bothered. No, there's no difference in anything. Now, again, with the benefits. Now, because like I said, my kids get that shit. That shit will get shut down. That's where their 40 million comes back. When that gets turned back on, 38 million will go back on. The 2 million, which are the illegals, will be off. That is where they have the big problem. That's where they keep going. There's 40 million people. They're taking 40 million people, this and that. And again, the whole point, you say that it doesn't matter what the price was in the beginning. What do you mean, it doesn't matter what the price is in the beginning? The government insurance is a money game, just like the private insurance. It was, I believe, $398 on the high end. That's if you didn't have any disabilities. That's if you were just a young person and you didn't have any health care. It was $398, I believe. Now, you adjust for the years and you go up to what it would be now. It is going to be exactly what the fucking price is going to be when the subsidies that were meant to go away. Now, it'll be harsh on people, because you was used to it being, this price. It was harsh when gas went from 97 cents to $4. But I mean, that's more of a fluctuation than what this was. This you knew what was going on. The Democrats knew what was going on. The Republicans knew what was going on. The Republicans did not do anything because they knew it was going to run out. And now the biggest thing about that whole thing, when it does come back, that people are bitching about and they want to stop, as they're doing, which was already implemented. So I don't understand why it's a big problem. You know, the work thing. You know, if you're an able-bodied person, you know, for me to get the benefits of the household or anything, for an able-bodied person to get benefits through welfare, through Medicaid, you either have to work 84 hours a month, or volunteer 84 hours a month. You could do more, but as long as you meet that criteria and you make under the cap, which was moved up, you get to keep your SNAP benefits, you get to keep your Medicare benefits. Now, a big problem in them subsidies that people are bitching about is that not only are the working man, the people like, you know, like us, our friends, people like that, are the working man getting the benefits, but it was extended to people making over $200,000 a year. That's the truth. The numbers are sitting in front of me. They want to take that away because those people who are making $200,000 a year could afford their fucking health insurance. So, I mean, again, this is not all about the illegals. The illegals are a percentage of it, and if you want to deny that, you could go right ahead. But I mean, I'm sure clearly it's been brought up. But it's all the rest of this shit in here, dude. And these supposed tax cuts for these companies, these same companies that were brought in, or they were brought in by our president. You know, because pharmaceutical companies got tax cuts and some AI companies got tax cuts and stuff because we were spending billions and billions of dollars in different countries on medicines during COVID to bring in shit here. When we said, hey, if we give you a tax cut, you make that shit here. But those are the big corporations.
They were already doing that in the Biden administration. They were doing tax subsidies for people manufacturing here. Listen, I don't know how long your show is supposed to run. Was it supposed to run an hour?
Yeah.
All right, so we're over time. I just want to end with this. And this is not to you. This is just anybody watching this show. Where's your compassion? Where's your humanity? If I'm asking for money to help somebody that needs help at a hospital, or to help feed a kid, or to help somebody that's fleeing their country, where's your compassion to reach out and try to make America someplace that helps these people versus vilifying them and treating them like some sort of pariah to society? These people could very easily, and have in the past, turn their lives around and become productive citizens. I've seen people arrested who have sons and daughters in the military, who have been in this country for 20 years, who have tried to be productive citizens. They work hard every day, and we're vilifying them. And even then, we're vilifying the poor. I've seen people say, well, why are 40 million people on SNAP? They're just lazy. No, it's not. Most of those people are children when they count those numbers. A lot of them are veterans. A lot of them are elderly who just don't make enough money. We live in a country that the whole reason this country was started was give us your sick, give us your poor. Those words are at Ellis Island. When you come into this country, we want people like that to come. If we have changed America to say we don't want these people anymore, and we don't want poor, and we don't want people gaming the system, and we don't, then let's say that, and then just change America and let's make it different. But I was raised in this country to believe, and I've been in the military, and I've been broke, and I've been poor, and I know people that have been in the system. If I was raised in this country to believe that at the very core, we care about people and we want to treat them right, and we want to treat them just, and we want to give them the opportunity to be productive citizens until they prove they cannot be. And that's not what's happening right now. We are focusing on the rich and how to get more money and how the deficit is blowing up and we need to get rid of anything that costs money. Meanwhile, we got rid of USAID and millions of children are going to die overseas because of that. And we're trying to get rid of similar programs here in the United States, which doesn't affect anybody but children. Where's your compassion? Where's your humanity? Let's stop arguing about the bullshit and get back to caring about each other. And let's elect people and get them in office that actually care about people. And stop electing people that are going to Washington to fight culture wars over DEI and critical race theory and whatever the fuck else they want to make you mad about. Get back to caring about each other. And let's do that on this kind of basis where we're having productive discussions. Let's get back to that. And that's all I have to say, man. We can continue this discussion later, but let's get back to that.
All right, and for my final thoughts on the whole thing, I feel like Rob has touched on a little something there. For years and years and years, America was that compassionate country. For years and years and years, Americans did have that empathy. But I like to use the analogy: if you got a big hole in your roof, in the center of your roof, and you worrying about fixing all the little holes on the outside, the center of the roof of the house is going to collapse. No, we cannot take in no more sick. No, we cannot take in no more poor. We've had years and decades of that, and our people, our own people, our American people were suffering. You know, and it's really weird that one of the biggest arguments that the right or the left has is the children, the same ones who are footing the bills for abortions damn near all the way to the end of pregnancy, which is real. So I mean, this whole empathy on the children. How about our American children? How about the American children that are on the streets that are poor? How about the kids in Chicago's that got the school shut down just for them to reopen as illegals, housing for illegals? What about our kids who are killing themselves in the schools? What about our kids that are getting all dying in record numbers of overdoses? What about our housing market? What about our homeless veterans? You know, what about them? You know, we haven't had any whataboutism, and this is my whataboutism, because that is what we need to be thinking about. We don't need to be thinking about Uganda, and we don't need to be thinking about Zambia, and we don't need to be thinking about, if them countries can't make it on their own, then they don't deserve to be countries. America did it, and we're the youngest country in the world. Now, maybe when we get our shit back together and stop worrying about everybody else, then maybe we can start helping people the way we used to. But at this point, none of that has anything to do with our government being shut down. You know, because yes, the illegals is a talking point because it caught me up. But it's not just the Republicans who are using it as a talking point. It's the Democrats, because as long as they keep the Republicans arguing about the illegals, they keep your eye off the prize, which is the list of fuck shit that I just read off. And not only that, but something that was not brought up was the added $40 million that Chuck Schumer just put into the new bill to I think fund some other LGBT shit in Europe. The American people didn't vote for that. That's what people need to understand. Trump is doing what the American people voted for. We did not vote for a president that had compassion. We did not vote for a president that had, that didn't have any balls. We voted for somebody who's going to straighten this country back out. We voted for somebody who was a businessman, good or bad, but America is a business and it needed to be treated like that. And that is the only way we're getting ahead here in this country. And again, I do sympathize and empathize for the people out there who are suffering at the moment, the Americans that are suffering at the moment. So what you need to do is get on the horn to all your Democrat senators and congressmen and tell them to release your shit. And that being said, I want to thank Rob Coleman for joining me tonight. It's always a pleasure for having you here. Greg, thanks for your wise words of wisdom in this whole thing. And
Yeah.
I can't wait for another debate. This is the way it's supposed to be done. Right, Rob, we can agree with that.
Yeah.
This is the way it's supposed to be done. We may not agree on our points, but there are some points we do scratch the surface and agree upon. And ultimately, we just want the government to fucking open up and all the political games to be stopped.
I learn something every time I talk to you, Marco. Hopefully you learn something from me too.
Always, Rob. And it's my pleasure having you tonight, man.
Sure, bro.
That being said, y'all be good to each other. We out.
Good night, y'all.